What's up, everyone? This tournament content here is going to be for all you Ultimate Golf Battle folks. For those who don't know about that game, it is basically kind of like a race to finish a hole for mini golf. Really cool concept, similar to this game. Um, Very cool concept over here. So this tournament content is basically going to be for you players who are coming over here and maybe seeing this for the first time. One of the things, let's just back up and start at the home page. So once you get into the game, you'll see on the home page, there's a play golf button, there's a tournament button, and then when we scroll down here, you're going to see Ultimate Golf Battle. That's what this event is for. It's for all players who are crossing over or might want to check out that game as well. Two cool games here coming together for one common goal here, which is basically just bringing people together for cool games to play. And here you'll see when we jump into the tournament, you're going to have clubs here that you can kind of switch to. This is kind of like a earlier entry account. It does have a couple good clubs. I can kind of back up and kind of go through more shots that are geared towards, younger players who might just be starting out. One of the things about the clubs, they're relatively easy to progress. And the way that you see my bag set up here, this is more or less, especially in the early going, what you're going to want to focus on improving. Those are some of the most important clubs starting off. And you'll find that you can put together clubs for these cards and everything for these relatively easy in this game. So they're pretty easy to acquire. So nothing that I'm hitting here is super fancy. And that's the way that we're going to play this guide. The other thing that you see down here in the left is you'll see a ball, and we can put spin on the ball, which is another cool feature for this. And one of the things that we're going to do here is just aim towards the right of the fairway. You can see that the wind is pointed up towards the northwestern direction. And here we'll just get off the tee, kind of hit it as far as possible. You're going to see that swing meter. You want to try to focus on hitting ultimate shots. Any deviation from that, and you will start to pull the ball. So you'll definitely want to hit the shots as straight as possible. Keep it in the fairway. This is, a full-on golf simulation, whereas the golf battle game is more just putts only. So it's a little bit different trying to play this game. But that's what this content is for, is just helping you guys kind of figure out the best way to play. And one of the things that you'll see here is I'm putting this towards the front of the green. It might look like this ball guide short. And you're also seeing that I'm utilizing a lot of backspin. This whole guide will utilize a lot of backspin because it just gives you a little bit more control. And when we look at this, you'll see it is kind of a shorter shot, but the wind is going to affect it at least slightly. So you're going to see, and one of the things that you'll see that I do is I rotate the wind direction to be straight up and down. And these rings here, these are to help you count how much the wind is going to play. So you're going to see for this shot specifically, I'm going to go over maybe just a little bit. And you could start to make references and just say, yeah, I've moved this much to the right. And this was almost one full ring. So when I look at this inner circle, I almost pulled one full ring. And to be honest with you, as close as this is, there's not going to be a lot of movement at all. So that's the reason that you're seeing me go about as much as I did. But it looks like I needed to go just slightly more, maybe, or my alignment was a little bit off because it looks like it landed pretty much on line with the hole. And it just kind of broke to the left. So, of course, green slope and everything is going to come into play for this game. So definitely make sure that you're considering that as well. We're going to try to play through these holes and just give you guys the best idea of how to get through and navigate these holes. And you can see this is a relatively short hole. Sometimes I actually go over here towards the green. This can be a nice, cool thing to do. So let's just, for this one hole, put on a better power ball. And you'll see this power ball, it's definitely going to be something that you can get from the shop. Of course, you don't have to play this hole this way, but the advantage to doing it this way is to get up close to the green. You get up close to the green, makes it easy to eagle. So if you want to take a chance, I would recommend going, oh, wow, I didn't expect that to hit that tree. So a little bit bad break there. Probably should have hooked it around. It was weird because they weren't showing it hitting that tree on any of my guide. So not the greatest shot, could have been executed a little bit better. The goal was to get it up here. So you can see where I'm pointing on my screen. And if we would have got up there, this would have been a very easy, straightforward pitch. Granted, with that being said, it's not overly difficult from here, but it's going to play just a little bit more than it would. It would have almost played nothing from up there by that bunker. Whereas you're going to see from here, it's going to play a little bit. But the big thing about this is just kind of concentrating on that ultimate shot. There you can see that I got my ultimate shot. Oh, and it looks like we almost had it. So that little bit that I adjusted was pretty much spot on. The ball just came up a little bit short. But you get the idea of why, we would go aggressive like that, especially if we didn't hit that tree branch. We would have been up there. We would have had to very minimally, maybe even not even adjust. That's how close you are. The wind doesn't even play when you get up that close. So definitely keep that in mind as to why we're playing that hole that way. We're going to just switch back to the spiders now. And these spiders, these are something that are just common balls from the shop. You can win these relatively easy in the tournament division. So if you guys, hang with this game and whatnot, you'll be able to definitely earn these balls via the tournament. You should even be able to, if we look at the prize section, that's one thing that you can always do as well when you're in game. I'll pull that up real quick just so you can see it. So if we go save and exit, just back out to this screen, hit the info I button down in the corner. We go to rewards. You can see in this, we're going to get 9 of those spiders back. We're going to get 5 cruisers, and we're going to get these amateur trophy balls, which are pretty much the best balls. I can show you that one. That's the best premium ball that you'll get from this tournament. I can show you what it does in comparison to this on the next tee box as well. So those are really nice balls. Definitely something worth trying to upgrade. And here you can see we're going to apply a little bit of backspin. It's a common theme for this game is you're going to want to utilize and focus on upgrading clubs with backspin. Backspin is a premium for this game. It helps you control all your distances. So highly recommend, upgrading and getting clubs with backspin, similar to the bag that you see me playing here, is definitely, especially for early players. This is another good IM route. Once you get IM route unlocked, that's a good one to switch to. However, starting off, it's not the easiest to come by. So it might take you just a little bit to get it. So that's why I'm shooting with the clubs I'm shooting with. But there you can see what we're doing is we're just kind of playing some of the wind and hitting it up there. You'll be able to use those rings and rotate your screen to make it easier for your adjustments. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that. One of the things I wanted to show you on the tee box here is, let's show you the amateur trophy ball. I just want to kind of show you the difference between the balls. And some of these other balls are just kind of balls that you can collect along the way that are in the shop and whatnot. But let's use this bunker for comparison. You can see that we can get up here. The wind's 2.8 straight in the face. If I swap the ball to this amateur trophy ball, you can see it extends it. Now my target goes maybe 20 yards farther, 10, 20 yards. And then it also took 2.8 and moved it down to 1.7 wind. So that ball is going to be one of the better balls for the game. So playing these tournaments is definitely something that you want to be able to do and have good tournament success, because acquiring those balls are definitely going to make you a better player. And here you can see We're just getting it off into the fairway here. After we get into the fairway, we will take a look at this next shot. Looks like we're a little in between clubs here. When you get in between clubs, it's a little bit harder. And this is a perfect scenario where that happened. So one of the things that you can do, and I'm just going to show you that now, because this is a perfect time too, is Spectra. This is another club that you can unlock, but you can see switching to it. So this is the purpose of switching between clubs, is you can see that it just kind of opened up this range that would have been otherwise kind of a dead zone in between clubs. But now we switched our short iron. Switching the short iron, as you can see, it's just going to make it easy for this short iron to extend the range, and we can just get that much closer. So you always want to keep the clubs in mind when you're playing through these, because switching is going to make the game play easier. So you might find in a tournament scenario is you'll find that you might utilize maybe 8 clubs, 9 clubs in a single round, instead of just sticking to the same 4 or 5. And then it looks like this is going to be more or less the same. So if I was to play with this Orion, and let me just show you this, you can see it's just going to move this line back in the way. So this, and this isn't the only club that you can switch to, but it's the easiest. So if you have an extraterrestrial, you could technically switch to, oh no, I'm in the wrong category. You could technically switch to a sniper, and this might be the first thing that you unlock. However, as you start to unlock things like Spectra, you're going to find, and it's because of that backspin being a premium, we're going to hit these shots with backspin just to show you that it's a little bit easier to play the game. And it's definitely a concept worth focusing on, is upgrading, utilizing backspin. Just makes the game a lot easier to play. We're just going to count over a couple rings here. So you'll find a couple rings on a 3. And that might just have been just a little bit too much. However, you can see it's still a very good shot, especially for learning the game and just kind of starting off. You're going to find that getting close to the hole is definitely not the easiest thing to do, and you're going to find that your name shoots up the leaderboard just being able to hit all of these shots. You can see all my tiebreakers here, 850, 860, 890. All of these are great tiebreaker scores. They're going to shoot your name up the leaderboard in a hurry, and backspin is going to make it easier to get those tiebreakers up. So here you're going to see we're going to hit this one off the tee. Trying to get those ultimate shots to keep it straight in the fairway. Don't get too aggressive on this hole. That's the best advice I can give you. The problem is you get too aggressive on this one, try to cut that corner, you could wind up in the water. So definitely better to be safe than sorry. And you'll see this shot specifically, it's not going to be the easiest to get this shot close. So what we're going to do here is maybe aim something like this down here with some topspin. It might look like, you know, you get a little nervous with topspin. However, when you're close to max club, it's not going to be nearly as bad. So you can utilize the topspin when you're close to the max club, and it won't overplay too bad. But the other thing that you saw is we need to play some curl. As you can see, that ball guide was too much pointed to the right. So what this left curl is going to do is it's going to start getting it over to the left more. So you'll see that the ball just ever so gently coming over to the left, maybe just a little bit too hot. So I maybe just topspin that just too much, but overall not too bad. As you can see, a very tucked pin. So one piece of advice that I could give you for that hole specifically, instead of utilizing the spider ball, would have been using a loop R. So let me show you that ball real quick, just so you know for next time. Or if you wanted to play through for yours, this is going to have more side spin. So you're going to see this is, and you can see this is the side spin down here. As we pull this, you know, left or right, it's double what this other ball has. So you're going to see that this one only is 2 versus 4 for the other one. So being able to utilize more of that side spin is going to make it easier to get that last hole that we just played closer to the hole. So keep that trick in mind. But here we are. We're going to get off the tee box here. You definitely want to try to get this up in the fairway as far as possible. You're going to run into a very similar problem to what we just had on that last one. Is range is going to be a motivating factor. And a lot of times what I try to do is I try to hit the green. And this might be an example where I try to do that. We're going to utilize the backspin. You're going to see if we land on this fairway, the ball guide stretches out more. You're going to find that landing on the greens controls your shot a lot more. So it's definitely something that I would recommend, especially for players who might just be starting out. Is you'll want to try to focus on hitting greens because it's a little bit more reliable surface. And then we're just going to kind of curl it. And as you can see, we get this relatively close to the hole. Same thing here, hole 6 and 7, both we could have used those loop bars for. I didn't know on the tee box, but now that we know, that's a good strategy for you guys. So if you're watching this video and trying to increase your performance, I would definitely recommend utilizing some more of that side spin. It's just going to make it that much easier to play through those holes. And one of the things that we can do is I'm going to just jump back here. We're going to rotate to a Orion. And this is the one with shorter range. So this is the short iron with shorter range. So that's the max club right there. We don't need our range for this shot. So you can see all I'm doing is kind of keeping that ball guide short. And then other than that, just play a couple rings, maybe right off the front of this green here. And here you can see it's coming in. Oh, so very nice effort there. Very close to the hole. And you see we just tap it in for birdie. So relatively straightforward game, especially once you get the hang of it. Hopefully this guide is helpful. As you can see, this is what it's designed to do. This tournament should be available all week for you guys as well. So if you guys are following this guide, keep in mind that you're going to have all week to play this one. It's just going to kind of daily reset for you. So be on the lookout for that. Because I highly recommend playing through this and just kind of earning the balls in the early stages. It's a nice way to accumulate a nice ball inventory. And you should find, like, especially if you're playing this, and this is your first weekend game, you'll find that getting these clubs similar to my level, you could do relatively easy. Like it's not gonna take you much effort to kind of get your clubs to my level. So realistically, you could earn these clubs in a week playing the game. So don't be, deterred by seeing the clubs in the event that you don't have the same clubs as me. It will not take you very long, especially if you try to get them. Now, one of the things that we're going to do, especially wind straight in the face, we're just going to take off some of that backspin. And we're going to push up to the max line here. What you're going to see, especially with wind straight in the face, it's going to have like a natural backspin, especially right at that red line. So wait until you see. So I took off the backspin. Well, watch how abruptly this ball stops. So you're going to see it just basically stops. So that's what we were doing is we were just taking off some of that spin. Because we knew, since it was right at that red line, wind in the face, that the wind was going to help it to create backspin just from the wind angle, plus being at the max club line as well. So both of those play a factor. Whereas you'll see on shots like this, with tailwind and topspin, it's going to run out much farther. So you'll see this driver, especially on this hole specifically. So wait until you see how much this runs out. It's less about the topspin, and it's more just being, you know, a distance. It's power. It's power dependent. It's wind direction dependent. If that would have been straight in the face, you know, I might have lost 10, 15 yards off the tee. So that wind being that direction plays a significant role in how far we get the shots off the tee. And, you know, consequently, you know, into the green as well. Now, one of the things that you'll see here is I'm keeping this ball guide short, utilizing my backspin. And then we're going to just adjust a couple rings, probably somewhere right in here. You'll see the adjustments for this game really aren't all that difficult. It might take you just a little bit. And sure enough, there you can see we actually made that one. So there's good potential in this game to do some pretty cool things. So hopefully you guys are finding this game to be manageable for you. That's what this video is about. It's kind of getting you on a strategy. So if you see me using it, especially if it's in my club inventory, ball inventory, there's a good chance that you should probably follow similar concept. And then furthermore, utilizing some of the ring strategies and just, you know, getting yourself in positions where you can use those rings to your advantage. Definitely highly recommend. And you'll find this game gets easier the more that you play it. So here you can see we're right towards the max line, and we might give this everything. So we might go full overpower. We're going to utilize these rings again, but I'm just going to kind of push it over. I'm thinking at least one, so we're going to go maybe 1.5. And then you're going to see we're going to utilize all this power. Try to focus on getting your ultimate shot. Of course, utilizing like a power ball could make this shot easier as well. The spider's not as high on power. That would have actually been a really good shot if it wasn't for that second bounce, which you could see kicked it hard to the right, which wasn't showing on my initial setup. It wasn't showing that it was going to deflect right because my second bounce was on the green. And then you could see when I actually hit the shot, the second bounce only landed right in front of the green. But you can see, all things considered, we still hit a nice shot, easy eagle. And there you can see another ultimate shot. And you will see your name will just shoot up the leaderboard, especially if you can play as solid and get these concepts down. And you can see nothing I'm doing is overly complicated. You might struggle at first, but you'll see the more that you play this game, the easier these concepts get. And we just kind of position this ball guide, as you can see, right in line with the hole. We're going to rotate the screen. We're going to call maybe a couple rings for this shot. And it's just very systematic. So once you see how much to go for all your clubs, you'll just get into these patterns and you can develop, you know, consistencies. And you can see we're going to almost make every single hole. And it's really experience and practice more so than anything. So the longer that you stay in game, the more holes that you play, the easier these concepts are going to get. But I'll just show you the top of the leaderboard after we finish, and you'll see. You know, I know I might tend to make this look easy, but it just shows with this kind of strategy and mentality about the game, when you actually think about all these things, using the rings, working on figuring out all these club tricks and everything, just knowing your clubs, you're going to see that you can perform very well in this game, and it's very easy to do well. It's just going to take just a little bit of time to get there, that's all. This is a perfect example. We should be able to get very aggressive with this. So you're going to see I'm going to keep this ball guide real tight on the hole. And I already know that this one's going to play close to, just a little bit more than 2 rings, 2.5, somewhere in there. And this is another one where, we're trying to be very aggressive. The object here is to essentially make this one. And you can see we're right on it, just a little bit short. And you can see it actually backed up as well. So it backed up because of that wind being straight in the face. So a lot of this stuff, you just kind of learn along the way. Winds in the face create backspin. Tailwinds create topspin. And that's regardless if I'm applying backspin or topspin. As you can see, especially on that one shot into that headwind that I was showing you specific, I took off a lot of that backspin, but it still played like I didn't take off the backspin. And it's because of the wind direction. And here we're going to do very similar. Just get this alignment down. We'll go a couple rings here. And just coming into the left of the hole. As you can see, we can get very aggressive on all these holes, all these shots, especially once you start to get your backspin built up. And like I said, these clubs that I'm using, realistically, especially if you invested time in tournaments, if you played all tournaments that are available to you for a week, you're going to find that your bag is very similar to what I have. So just because you might not have it the very first day that you play, just give it a few days, play some tournaments, focus on your performance and improving your clubs, and you will easily be to the level of clubs that I have in realistically only a week, just from, opening tour chests, stuff like that. And this tour is like head-to-head, so you're battling one-on-one against people. This is, you're battling basically 100 people in the same bracket, or in this case, 200 people in the same bracket. Here you're going to see, we're going to play this over here, maybe with some spin. We're just going to aim over here. A little bit of top spin. You can see we're utilizing this curl feature again. So again, another thing that you could do, especially for this shot, ooh, so we brought that in real close, just a little bit too much topspin. But that curl can make up for a little bit extra side spin you don't have. But if you use something like a loop R, it can make this hole play a lot easier. So another hole here where a loop R with the extra side spin would just make it that much easier for you. So that's 3 holes. They were all par 5s. So that'll make it easy to remember. And here we are using the backspin again. Keep it in mind, especially with the tailwind, the guide's going to stretch out. So make sure that you're keeping it short on tailwinds, more aggressive on headwinds. And then for this shot, we'll just go just under a couple rings. It's not quite at full club, so when it's not at full club, it's not going to go full wind. And here you can see, oh, right over the left edge. So it was like 1 tick mark too far. But a very controlled, we almost made it. So you see what we're doing is we're just playing very systematically. And you can just see how fast we're shooting up this leaderboard. Doesn't look like too many live players are in this bracket yet. However, you'll see that your name's going to be well up the leaderboard if you follow my concepts. So just being able to do the things that I'm doing in this video, and it's just going to take a little bit of practice. And actually on that one, it looks like I pulled it. So that just shows you have to hit those ultimate shots. You can see that we're actually in the rough. However, we should still be able to navigate and get this out. So the goal here is going to be maybe to do some aim over towards here. Get this to check up, maybe with some curls, something to that effect. And we didn't even need the curl. So there you can see, relatively easy. Even if you do, if you try to play for fairway, and especially if you know that you can still get a rough iron there, you can play a little bit more aggressive. If you know you're going to, be too far, you might want to play a little bit more cautious. Make sure you wind up in the fairway. But when you're closer to the hole, the rough iron's not a bad thing. And you can see, especially if I didn't curl that, we could have even made that. So this is another little tight hole. So be sure to keep this one in the fairway. As you'll see, it's a very tight hole. You can actually see that it rolled out into the rough anyway. I'm not overly concerned. Similar to what we just saw the last hole, should be a very easy shot to execute from the rough. You can see we're just kind of pointing that ball guide towards the hole. And then, in terms of how much I'm going to go, thinking about somewhere up in here. Maybe just a tick mark. I'm just trying to kind of get that alignment. I know that I have a good chance at making this, and that's why I'm trying to be very cautious with the way that I'm playing it, because I know we're going to give this a good run. Oh, so just off to the right. But all things considered, a very nice round. All these shots very tidy. We played, we took advantage of a backspin. Think about what we did. Like all those holes, we played backspin. We just kept it close to the hole on all these shots. So you can see this is a really clean scorecard. It's not going to be the easiest thing for new players to do, but after you get the hang of it and start to realize this club comes up this, rolls out this much extra on the ball guide, it's going to make it easier for you. We shot a 23 under. Very nice tiebreaker. If you look, just look at the tiebreaker score that I put up in relationship, 18,000 versus 12,000. So it's a much stronger tiebreaker. And you're going to see people will start rolling in here as well into this bracket. I don't see them yet, but they will be coming in. Just focus on the concept that I outlined in this video, and you will find that you will easily be able to navigate through these events. Best of luck out there on the course, guys, and take care out there. Comment in the video if you have any feedback or need some special help. More than happy to walk you guys through. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to like, thumbs up the video. And I'll do the best that I can to keep up with comments and whatnot. Best of luck out there, and see you guys later. Take care.